Hi everyone. So the today's topic would be emotional eating or maybe stress induced eating, whatever that you want to call it. It's basically a habit or a condition that we created for ourselves, or maybe our body creates it by itself. It's a habit that with which I'm suffering from it. I'm trying to really help out from it. So and before helping out ourselves, you just need to first understand that what actually is the thing. So yeah, I was doing the research on the internet about it, and I found few things, so I just wanted to share it with you all. So it's kind of a situation where you starts to feel like to have food, but you are not really feeling hungry. Okay, you literally had food few hours back, but and you're full even, but you just want to eat something, just want to have something for your palate. It's that situation. We're going to talk about that. So why, first of all, we need to understand why this urge, this feeling comes. It because of for very prolonged being in a stress, or maybe prolonged loneliness in our life. It because of that. Okay, our brain starts to find the other alternatives, kind of that way. You will understand it properly. Just hold on and listen to me. Basically, when our body starts to get in very stressed, or starts to being anxious or lonely or maybe overwhelmed, or starts to feel emotionally very low, then our brain releases this stress hormone called as cortisol. Okay, and that cortisol increases cravings, especially for the carbs, fats, or a palatable food, any familiar food that could just release the dopamine, and at least for some time you get the relief from that feeling. Basically, the body looks for the comfort at that time, and the dopamine hit creates that temporary pause from that uncomfortable emotion that you were having it. And this is exactly what we call it as emotional eating. And as we know that our brain is quite a sensitive to quick dopamine sources, whether it is by food or maybe scrolling reels on Instagram. But here we're going to talk about only that food part. Okay, but you can relate it with the internet thing, spending too much time on the internet after hearing all the things. Okay, but here we're going to talk about only the food part. Okay, so the main thing that we need to understand here now is that our body isn't asking for food, it's asking for relief. That urge that we feel is not a hunger, it's a prolonged emotional overload, the mental fatigue, the loneliness, or sometimes even the boredom with mixed with the stress, which was kind of a my situation. And then the food becomes the most accessible comfort for us, and our brain literally just looks for the comfort, the easiest way that it can get. It goes for that, and for me it was the food. And and because of that, I starts to eat so much unhealthy street foods, like way too much amount of packed foods, like packet foods, literally so much. My god, my absolute dustbin are filled with the packets, and I'm not having any food from my whatever, what do you call it, what do you call it, in my hostel. Yeah, I mean, the hostel foods is horrible at it, but that's the other thing. But like, I'm just having packed food, the outside food, the foods from the streets, which are not really healthy for me, you know. And then the consequences of it is what key we starts to gain weight, and the absolute metabolic dysregulation starts to happen. And forget about helping it, it actually starts to increase your anxiety even more. And it's nothing but a learned coping behavior by our brain. Basically, how it works, I'll just tell you line by line, is that first it starts to get that emotional discomfort. Okay, it starts to have that stress, and then body looks for the comfort, like the most easiest one that it can find, that it can get, so that it can get a pause from that feeling that you are having it. And the most easiest that it can find from me was a food, maybe sometimes a scrolling on Instagram for any other people, or even for me sometimes. So, and then after eating it leads to relief, and our brain associates that eating with comfort, because it it gets that relief. Okay, so it associates that eating with the comfort, and then that behavior becomes an habit, and then that issue comes. And you know what, sometimes it even becomes in cycle, where like after eating the food you starts to have a guilt, or starts to criticize yourself. Like for me it was spending too much money on street foods, or maybe not having healthy foods. And you know what, it again starts to lead the stress, and after being stressed again, the cycle starts again, and you just freaking get stuck in this furious and this absolute vicious cycle. Yeah, I would call it vicious. And the so basically what we can do, let's talk about that first. The next thing is that what can we do to get out of this situation? The first thing that we can do, as what I have thought about it and I have tried, is to pause the urge. You just have to pause that urge. It's the most important and the first thing that you have to do. When the urge hits, don't fight it immediately. Just ask yourself one question: what am I actually feeling right now? The question should be like, not like, am I really hungry or not? The question should be, am I anxious? Am I lonely? Am I overwhelmed? Am I tired? What is that feeling that making me crave for that comfort, or for that quick dopamine hit? And you know what? This will weaken the urge. The questioning ourselves will definitely weaken that urge. And then the second thing that you can do is to find or make a non-food comfort list for you, because brain wants the comfort. So give it alternatives. Pick 3 or 5 things. Okay, don't go for like absolute 10 to 20 things. Just go for the 3 to 5 things and try to work on it. Maybe the things that I can suggest you would be like, take warm shower, or maybe a tea without a sugar, slow breathing exercise, or maybe writing a paragraph of feelings, or maybe a walk for 5 minutes, or a light exercise, or maybe a short stretching session. Do this one thing for 10 minutes, and if you still want to have food after that, you know what, eat it mindfully but without a guilt. That's the best way you can deal with it. Okay, and like, if you want to like totally eliminate this part from your life, trust me, you have to work on that stress part. What is that feeling that making you so much having stress? Because this condition will stay in your life unless and until you're working on that stress part. Because right now it's the eating wala habit, and if you worked on that habit, then you will get addicted to any other habit. Because brain just wants comfort, and you will provide it alternatives. That's the best thing that you can do. So yeah, so just work on that stress part. That's it. This would be my New Year's resolution actually. I will work on my stress part, because the back 2 3 years were really horrible ones. I've been through absolute horrible situations, I just wish the new year won't be like this. And yeah, I'm working on it. And please tell me in comment section how do you like the topic and the information. For me, the alternatives would be to have a light exercise, or to do the journaling, and maybe a creative work like maybe a drawing, kind of that thing, or maybe recording myself on video for the YouTube. Yeah, for the YouTube video. Yeah. And you know what, I really want to share this thing with you all. I Today I was literally scrolling so much on the internet, like absolute going crazy, totally forget about the timing, like wasting so much time, and I had so much to study, but I was just constantly scrolling on internet. And you know what, my daily data just got over. And after that, I did not had even a penny in my bank account that I can top up my internet data. And then I was just looking on the Wi-Fi that maybe I could find any Wi-Fi accessible, but I couldn't. I was just so angry. I was so like irritated by it. Then finally I just made myself comfortable, and then I thought, you know what, let's probably write about the this topic. I actually wrote about it in a paper yesterday, which it took me like 10 to 15 minutes, I guess. Yeah, I wrote about it. And you know what, when I finished writing it, I literally forget about the urge of scrolling on the internet, like totally. And I was so ready to go for my study. you know I'm giving this example to you because it really does help. When you get the urge, now just question yourself, just question and give it alternative. That's the best thing that you can do if you're not really able to fight with the stress part. Yeah, that's it. Thank you for listening me. And please do not forget to like let me know any other part that you want to add on this topic. I would love to hear about it because I myself have been recently known about it. I would love to know more. Yeah.